Well, Europe is coming together to support Ukraine. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer met with other European leaders over the weekend to discuss ending the war between Ukraine and Russia. Starmer says that he has worked with France and Ukraine on a plan to end the fighting there. Steps towards peace include keeping aid flowing into Ukraine, maintaining economic pressure on Russia, making sure Ukraine is at the bargaining table, and continuing to arm Ukraine to deter future invasion. Starmer also announced the UK will use $2 billion to supply 5,000 air defense missiles to Ukraine. Now, this comes after Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelenskyy visited Washington, D.C. on Friday.
Zelenskyy once expected to sign a deal allowing the U.S. to access minerals in return for the money that it has sent to support Ukraine. But the meeting in the Oval Office turned into a heated back and forth. Take a listen.
Then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look. If you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
With guarantee.
Zelenskyy left the White House without signing a deal. Reaction to the meeting has been split down party lines, with Republicans applauding the president for putting America first, while some Democrats are calling the meeting shameful.
Joining us this morning with what this all means and now where do we go from here, Dr. Chris Cooper from Western Carolina University. Chris, always a pleasure. Good Monday morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good to see you both.
Okay, are you surprised by the way that conversation from where it started to where it ended before Zelenskyy left the White House?
I was and am absolutely surprised. Yeah, I keep waiting for the day where y'all are going to call me and I'm going to say, well, this is exactly what we expected to see. This is normal politics. But we haven't had that in a number of years, right? So, yeah, this was, something else entirely, right? I think we all expected to see, kind of the normal dog and pony show, the normal, being polite, being pleasant to each other, ultimately signing this agreement. What we saw was quite the opposite, right? This thing took a side turn that I didn't see coming. It got downright nasty, frankly, a little bit uncomfortable even to watch.
Mm-hmm. Chris, I got to ask, is this kind of, obviously it's a departure from the way that we've done foreign policy for years. Is this kind of the Trump brand of negotiating? Is this something where we should expect that to be the new norm, where kind of the Obama-esque or even Bush-esque way of dealing with foreign relations with a bit of diplomacy is kind of out the window?
Yeah, Obama, Bush, pick any former president ever to serve, really. This is something entirely different. And I think we saw that with a couple of the reactions. One, Donald Trump himself, at the very end of that press conference, said something to the effect of, well, that's going to make some great TV. So I think we know exactly what he's thinking the whole time, right? He's thinking how this is going to play. This is very much his brand. This is reality TV come to the Oval Office in this case. And I think we saw Lindsey Graham and Chuck Edwards, member of Congress in North Carolina, right afterwards, reference The Art of the Deal, right? They both reference the book that Donald Trump wrote well before he ever got into politics, with the idea that this guy does business differently. He understands the art of the deal. He knew what he was doing the whole time is the pitch.
Okay, so the rare earth minerals deal was not signed there. Zelenskyy leaves. We know the Republicans are supporting the way Trump handled this conversation, but obviously you've got a lot of the Europeans. The war is still going as of right now. So a lot of Europeans that are coming to Zelenskyy's aid. You've got the British Prime Minister. You got from Germany, Canada, France. They're all kind of standing together, Chris, in solidarity, saying we support, we will be there. We promise to arm and defend Ukraine. We've got a couple of sound bites from some of those leaders. Take a listen.
On Friday in the Oval Office, President Zelenskyy pointed out, in so many words, that Vladimir Putin is a liar and a criminal and cannot be trusted to keep his word in any way, shape, or form, because he has demonstrated time and time again that he will break any agreements. I stand with Volodymyr Zelenskyy, and I stand with the people of Ukraine.
It is key that we all are understanding that it is our common task to support Ukraine, because it's a threat to the security architecture, not just of Europe, but also the world.
The UK is prepared to back this with boots on the ground and planes in the air. Together with others, Europe must do the heavy lifting. But to support peace in our continent and to succeed, This effort must have strong US backing.
All right, Chris, so how does this Oval Office showdown, how does this change the dynamics of the peace effort with what's happening?
Yeah, I mean, I think it changes it in some fundamental ways. We saw the Washington Post today, actually, the headline is something about how the Kremlin's foreign policy and the United States are really lined up very well right now. And they are lined up in contrast to most of the rest of the world. I think those clips showed that. I think everything else we read throughout the weekend shows that. The question I have is whether this, in some ways, maybe is actually what Donald Trump wanted. I mean, essentially, you've got Europe saying, the United States is not going to be there. We're the ones who need to stand up and do something to protect Ukraine. Perhaps that's exactly what Donald Trump was aiming for the entire time.
Kind of want to stay on that point there, Chris. One of the things we heard from Keir Starmer, even when he talked, was saying that, okay, going forward, we're going to need the United States' help. And they even asked him, have you had any sort of guarantee? He said, well, we have spoken with President Trump. So I guess the question is, in front of the cameras, we see one thing. But is there something else happening behind the cameras where maybe, to his credit, there's a deal being worked that could end up with peace in the Ukraine? Essentially, is it all going to be worth it if Trump can pull off a deal?
Goodness, I hope so, right? I mean, putting aside what anybody may think about Donald Trump, I think we all hope that, right? We all hope and we all pray for peace. Whether he is able to actually pull that off, I mean, I think remains to be seen. Zelenskyy appeared, at least to me, to be surprised, to be offended. The rest of the world appeared to be so as well. Maybe this is all some version of four-dimensional chess that Donald Trump is playing, and in the end, we're going to figure out that he had it the whole time, that he really is the master of the art of the deal. But right now, what we appear to see is the United States in stark contrast to the people who we've always considered our allies.
One of the main pieces of this interesting and ever-changing puzzle, Chris, is Russia. And Trump keeps saying, I'm not going to talk about a peace deal unless Russia comes to the table. I'm sure Zelenskyy isn't just, let's make it happen whether Russia is involved or not. How does the U.S. get Russia involved without aligning with Russia?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I don't exactly know the answer, right? I mean, clearly, if you're going to have peace, you need both sides to agree to peace. The question is Donald Trump, is the United States the proper convening agent to make that conversation happen, to make that peace deal happen? And I think that's what really remains to be seen. I mean, look, Donald Trump is in some ways playing in multiple rhetorical directions at the same time. He's talking to Zelenskyy, he's talking to the cameras, he's talking to the Kremlin, he's talking to our allies, and then he's also talking to the American voter. Let's remember that while he's having this conversation about foreign policy, he mentioned Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Adam Schiff at one point. So, there's a lot to keep track of in this very one, sort of brief press conference.
Dr. Chris Cooper with Western North Carolina University. We appreciate you joining us, trying to break down what we're seeing from the Oval Office. As you said, maybe everything works out, maybe it doesn't, but it remains to be seen right now. Chris, thank you.
Thanks for having me.